hello to everyone watching, and welcome and thanks for tuning in for another episode of Inside the Cougar Cavern. Today we have SrA Morris. SrA Morris, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody. I'm Senior SrA Morris. Call me Christopher. I'm at CTF right now, about to in-doc, and I've been here since January.
Awesome. Well, thanks for giving me your time today. I'm looking forward to interviewing you. So let's get started. What is the title of the current chapter of your life?
Ooh.
I said goofy, lighthearted, and then I start with that one.
Right, yeah, that one's, I don't even know. Probably something along the lines of, like, cliche, but a new beginning. Just because there's been so much going on, so much has changed lately, especially with the way the world is right now. So I would have to say it's some sort of like fresh start.
I like that. And applies in many different ways to you particularly, right? So
Right.
That's a good chapter. Mine would, oddly enough, probably be similar, I think, like you said, because with all the changes in the world, just got to the squadron. So I'd have a whole lot of chapters that are new beginnings. I just keep starting over.
Right. That's kind of the nice thing is you can just do it whenever you want.
Yep. What would be the worst movie sequel to ever be made?
Probably the Titanic 2. Just re-exploring the boat at the bottom of the ocean.
That would be awful. That and it'd be tough to make it like a super cheesy romantic.
Right.
Like, yeah, now we're gonna explore the crash site and fall back in love with each other. I didn't watch the first one because it came out. I'm gonna age myself. It came out when I was right in the middle of my teen years as a teenage girl, and all of my friends were obsessed, and I just like took a stance and refused to watch it. So I don't think I'd
never
watch
seen
the
it?
sequel.
Wow. I remember watching it when I was young, and it gave me nightmares because I was like terrified that at some point my family would go on a cruise and they would all die. So I had nightmares about it for like weeks.
Have you been on a cruise?
Nope.
I didn't see it. I have no desire to go on a cruise, even though I've never seen it, but I'm with you. So different reasons for not watching it, but
yeah.
I'll stay away from it because maybe someday I'd want to go on a cruise. What do you believe is the closest thing to real magic?
I like laughed about this because I thought about this the other day, and magnets are the most bizarre thing to me. If you like just looking at how they work, like it's just two pieces, like they just automatically come together, like push each other apart. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's just a lot of crazy variable there that's just, there's no way it makes sense. I don't know.
It's funny you mentioned that. So I don't know if you're familiar with the Insane Clown Posse. If you're not,
I've heard
that's
of
okay.
them. Yeah.
They have a whole song, I think, that talks about magnets and like how it doesn't make any sense. So that's the goofy thing I thought of. And then the other thing I thought of, my 8-year-old spent the summer with my mom, and she kept telling me, like, you have to hear him explain gravity to you. So when he came home, I was like, can you explain gravity? And he explains it as if the Earth is a magnet and we're all pulled in by some magnetic force. And he says the same thing. He's like, it's kind of like magic. I'm not really sure.
Right.
I'm sure there's some kind of science, but yeah, there's so, like you said, there's so many variables, like what's magnetic, what's not magnetic, the strength of the magnet, how you can make it go away. Yeah.
Bizarre.
What are the best and worst purchases that you've ever made?
Ooh. Best purchase is the wedding ring for my wife. Best choice I ever made. Worst purchase. Right now it's the brand new puppy we got because she pees all over our floors. No, I'm just kidding. I love her. She's adorable, but she's a mess. Really, the worst purchase? That's a tough question. I don't know. Probably something stupid when I was young. Spend like, I don't know. I think I paid like $50 online for a game subscription for a year that I never even played. Yeah. Something
That's
stupid.
probably it for me, is like not even an intentional bad purchase, but like a free
Hmm.
trial I forgot to stop. I got an email I was like investigating a charge on my debit card for yeah, it was I had a free trial that I forgot about, and then a year later I get charged like $100, and I was just like,
Yeah.
"Ah, it's like just throwing money out the
Yeah.
window. How
Especially
terrible."
when I was young too, and it was like that was like all my money I had. I was
Yeah.
like, and once you get charged, it's too late. They don't take it back.
No. Um, no, and I think the wedding ring is definitely a solid purchase. And so I've got a dog that is, I don't think he's a puppy anymore. I don't know at what point you stop referring to a dog as a puppy, but he just turned a year. So probably not a puppy anymore, but he's my worst purchase. I didn't want him.
Yeah, you're
Uh,
Boston Terrier, right?
yeah. What kind of dog do you have?
Um, well, I have two. One I got a year ago. He's turned a year back in April. He's a Chihuahua Border Collie mix. I have no idea how that
Interesting.
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know the math behind it, but we adopted him from the SPCA. Um, and then the newest one we got is Clementine. She's a mutt of some kind. Her mother was like a healer breed mix, and they don't know what the father was, but she's pretty small. Her litter was, or half of them came down with parvo at
Oh.
like 4 to 6 weeks. And so she almost didn't make it, but we got her at 8 weeks old from the SPCA again. And she's been a little nightmare since then.
She's a survivor. Watch out. She's
Yeah,
gonna be
exactly. She's too
the
tough for her own good. She's not scared of anything anymore.
Yeah, those are the greatest ones. I love shelter mutts. Those are
Hmm.
my favorite dogs that I've always had.
Oh yeah, I always adopt if I can. It's just
Yeah, ours was just we were victims of impulse. Like my family had been bugging me to get a dog for as long as they could speak, as far as my
yep.
children. And then for like 10 minutes one day, I was like, hey, we should get a dog. Next thing I
It
know,
was
because it was,
over.
of course, like a Sunday afternoon, so the SPCA wasn't open. And my husband knows that, like, you've got to seal the deal now or it's never going to happen again. And yeah, we're in a pet store and I'm holding a Boston Terrier. And then I'm at home going, this was a terrible idea.
Yeah.
But he's rocking a cone of shame for another day because he recently neutered. But the poor thing is like, I just feel bad for her.
Yeah, poor guy.
Idiot. Okay, one more. And we're talking about animals, so it works. What animal would be the most terrifying if it could speak?
Probably monkeys. Monkeys are scary, honestly. If you like, okay, I've seen it all over like the news about like the different monkeys like taking over cities where they were like tourists and stuff. They used to feed them, and now they're not there, so they just take over the city looking for food and stuff like that. I could not imagine trying to go to sleep at night, like hearing herds of monkeys outside just screaming for food because they can't find anything. No thanks. And they're like their closest relative or whatever to humans. I just no thanks.
Yeah, I imagine that it would be something like maybe not toddlers because they can't even really speak super well, but like a whole bunch of 4-year-olds just running around
And
with
all they
like,
do is scream.
I'm with you. So I asked that question to someone before and they said, I think a spider or something small, like that they
Mm,
couldn't see and they could just hear it. But I think I'm with you on the monkeys, just because, yeah, I've seen documentaries or movies about the ones, and I can't think of what breed they or species, but the ones in India that are just like, we're here. This is our space. Like just
right.
they just walk
They
up and steal people's food.
yeah, they
Uh,
just don't care.
for some reason, I imagine that they cuss like sailors. Like they're just probably just
Oh, I'm sure.
jerks.
I'm sure.
Yeah, that's good they don't talk. All right, well, that's all the questions that I have for you. And now I'm going to turn it over to you. So any parting thoughts, words of wisdom, anything that you want the squadron or anyone watching to know?
Back on the topic of animals, adopt an animal. It's always great. On a more real note, try to remember that everybody's human. I think it's pretty easy, especially when we're in the military and stuff like that, to see people just as like their rank or their last name, or even out on the street. We were talking about bad drivers earlier. It's easy to forget that everybody is human, and no matter what, they've always got reasons for their actions, and you never know what they're going through on a day-to-day basis. So treat everybody with that, with that in mind. Not necessarily treat everybody as like the perfect person, but treat everybody with that in mind. And I think the world would be a better place.
I love it. And I'm sensing a theme in these words that we're getting passed on, because I know Sergeant Rafato touched on don't be a jerk. Some other people said just be kind, but you're absolutely right. Like, I think we all could just be better humans. And I think, realizing and remembering, like you said, that we're more than just our uniform, we're more than just our rank, our name, or the car that, like, I always, when I'm in traffic, I do have to remind myself that there's a human operating it, that it's not just like an inanimate object annoying the crap out of me.
Right.
And maybe they're having a bad day, or they've just grown up in a rural town and they have no idea how to navigate
Right. They
highway
just never
traffic.
learned. Yeah, they don't know.
Yeah. But we can all absolutely get better if we just treat each other with a little bit more compassion and some patience and humanity. So I appreciate that. All right, Airman Morris. Well, it was great getting to interview you, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you for the opportunity, ma'am. You as well.
Thanks.